So I was born with a curvature in my spine called scoliosis. And it was so bad while I was growing up that actually I had to get major surgery to fuse my spine. So I'm part bionic, part superhero with adamantium running through my body. What I'm trying to say is that I'm Wolverine, okay? Yeah, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you get less friends and watch more comic book movies, okay? Good talk. Honestly, scoliosis has not really held me back, pun intended. But pregnancy and delivery is especially challenging for people who have scoliosis. So when I first went to my OB to tell her that I had scoliosis and I was pregnant, she just started pacing around kind of nervously. She's like, here's some, your scoliosis, right? You have a rod? Okay. So, oh, here's some papers that you need to sign. So I was confused. She was like, look, no anesthesiologist is gonna get within a 10-foot radius of that spine. It's just way too much liability. We can't put an epidural in that thing. Look, we're just gonna put you under general anesthesia, okay? We'll just have a little C-section and cut the baby out. I was like, did you just say cut the baby out? Are you a real doctor? She's like, you know what I mean. I was like, the hell I do. Look, I hadn't even taken so much as a Tylenol during my pregnancy. Now I'm gonna drug the baby and then maybe hold him 24 hours later, lose that skin to skin, forget it. Not to mention, I had read a lot because I'm a lawyer and smart, okay? Not a scientist, but close. A baby benefited greatly from going through the birth canal, right? Getting that microbiome. Slathered in all of it. Did you just throw up in your mouth a little bit? I hope you did. I hope you did. I hope you choke on it. Finally, I didn't want a C-section because my grandmother did it 8 times. 8 times by herself in Italian-occupied Libya in the 1930s and 40s. That woman literally in a shed out back in a farm had her baby by herself. She lost one, but she had major street cred. Mage. So I'm like, all right, I was born to do this. Okay, sign me up. I can do this. I can join this dark sorority. I could be hazed. I could do that. So I did what was responsible. I told you I'm a lawyer. I contacted a very experienced doula to put safety first. I got an acupuncturist, and I also started taking a swaying dandelion homeopathic medicine. Just to shimmy that baby out naturally. I don't know. I was like, voodoo, magic beans, sign me up. I'll do it all, just as long as it comes out. And I was scared out of my mind, to be honest with you. I kept rethinking the delivery over and over and over again, how dangerous it was. And I stayed the course because I believed I could do it. And then at 38 weeks, I got delivered some bad news. My son was breech. His head was up, his booty was down. And just so you know, that means that he's like xylophoning through my rib cage, right? Like monkey barring through my actual diaphragm. I love how all the non-parents have tuned me out now. Listen up, okay? Listen up. Breech birth is a thing. My doula was sort of at a loss for words. I was like, what do I do? She's like, you could pray. You seem good at that. Like, do I got anything else? She's like, okay, you can do inversions. What that means is that my butt is up in the air and my head is on the floor and I am literally with the couch, with my knees on the couch and my head on the ground trying to teach the baby, this is the way. This is the way, little dude. All that did at 38 weeks for me was give me very bad headaches and make me an angry pregnant lady. I was like, you got something else? She's like, okay, one more thing. Okay, we could freeze the baby. It's like, I want him out, not frozen, out. She's like, no, you're gonna get a bag of rice and freeze it in the freezer. Then you're gonna put it on the side that the baby is sitting, and then you're gonna talk to him warmly and coax him down. I was like, talk therapy? Is that what we're doing right now? We're doing, that's for later. I'm supposed to pay for that later. My husband whispers sweet nothings to my little boy who's been frozen with a bag of rice, and all I feel was like a roller coaster, like I was about to vomit. I was like, I think he moved. I think he did it. And a breech birth specialist at GW confirmed. He said, your baby turned at 39 weeks. What? Infinitesimal odds for this to happen. And I'm like, you mean that feeling like I was gonna vomit? He said, yes, welcome to parenthood. An introduction, if you will. So he's like, you gotta go back to your original OB. I went to her, she's like, are you sure you wanna do this? Are you sure you wanna have all the pain? I was like, I've been telling you this for 39 weeks. Could you just please listen to me? She's like, okay, fine. All you have to do is go home and labor. And don't come into the hospital until you're gonna die. What? Do you even have a medical license? I was like Googling her at that point. She's like, yeah, like your soul, you'll know how it feels. Your soul's gonna feel like it's gonna exit your body. And that's how you know. But basically, I don't wanna see your face until your contractions are 2 minutes apart for 2 hours. That's how we don't intervene. Ta-ta, good luck. I went home, it was Thanksgiving, I was taking the buns out the oven, ironic. And I go into labor, and the contractions start, and boy, if you haven't felt a contraction, the best way I can describe it. What just happened? Did I get stabbed? What was that? I just lost time. Was that a millennia? Was that 20 seconds? Oh my God, like it's an alien, or more like a predator, like a baby predator trying to eat itself out of your womb. It's traumatizing. It lasted for 3 days. And then it stalled. I call up my doula, I'm like, what's happening? She's like, look, your spine is supposed to bend so that the baby can exit. It's a rod. There's a metal that is stopping that bending happening. Your natural self is going to be elongated, okay? This process is gonna be longer than usual, but your body's gonna figure it out. You need to be patient. I was like, I'm going to an acupuncturist because you are not doing it for me. Okay, I'm a Sagittarius. I need to control things. So I go to my acupuncturist and she's like, are you ready to die? And I'm like, are you talking to the other lady? Why is everyone talking about that? She's like, let's do this. Boom, 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 boom. She hits all my release points, and then she's like, here, burn this moxie, a Chinese herb, on your toes. I'm like, okay, voodoo and pyrotechnics, is that what we're doing? Just set me ablaze. All right, okay, sure, I'll do it. So I go home, I'm starting to burn it, and ooh, let me tell you, we're rocking and rolling now. I'm bouncing on that bouncy ball, let's do this. Contractions are moving, moving, moving. And the wailing pain that I'm in, I can't even describe. My mom and dad and my best friend and my husband are all in the house, and everyone is scared, very scared. It feels like someone's being murdered. I'm like, what? I mean, it's bad. And my mom vomits twice. She cannot handle, and I'm like, this is not about you, Mom. For once. My dad is pacing back and forth. He's like, oh my God, please, I cannot see you like this. Oh my goodness. You could go to the hospital right now, please. I will not be complicit if you die. I will not be complicit. A world. He goes into the guest room, shuts the door, and starts crying. I'm like, Dad, are you crying? He's like, no. I'm like, I can hear you. He's like, I'm self-soothing. Leave now. Okay, let me tell you something. These contractions are now a minute apart. 2 minutes for 2 hours, that didn't even last. I try to get up, and I'm like hobbling over to the elevator. My water breaks. And I get downstairs to the Camry, and I had pulled out some puppy pads. That's right, my OB that cut the baby out and stay home till you die lady told me to get puppy pads from CVS to protect my items. I was like, you should not be a doctor anymore. You get to be a lawyer. You should not. But you know, it was a brand new Camry. I didn't want baby juice all over my parents' brand new Camry. So I'm like, Scotch guard that puppy, just put it all over. And then my husband drives to the wrong ER. You know that one where he drives to the wrong ER? My body is convulsing in the back of this car. Convulsing. Those contractions turned into a I'm like, oh my God. The baby's being evicted all by itself. Holy crap. I get out of the car, I'm hanging, my hanging belly, I'm just trying to hold it, wobble in, and this triage nurse has the audacity to be like, ma'am, you're in the wrong place. I was like, why won't you help me? She's like, code red. She hits a button. A nurse flies out a wheelchair, and my mom is trying to push me, my 6-year-old mom, at the pace of a boxcar. I'm like, not her, someone else. I am grunting. There is no sentences, and this triage nurse takes me to the other side of the hospital where the correct ER is, and the woman's like, let me see how many centimeters. Oh my God, you're crowning. Oh, stop pushing. And I just look at her. I go, I'm not in control. She crosses my legs to stop the baby from coming out. She's like, oh my God, we gotta get you up to the delivery room. And it's like bumper cars. She is stressed. Boom, boom, boom on the side of every wall and on the elevator. And I look at her, I'm like, not cool. Badge number now. She's like, that is not the way it works. Are you burned on your toes? What is that? I'm like, shut up. Get up to the delivery room, and my doula, thank God, is there. And they're like, okay, now get up off this gurney and get onto the delivery table. Go ahead. Come on. The rage in my eyes, she must have seen it. My doula picks me up physically. Yeah, this beautiful black woman just scoops me up. And in that moment, I am in her bosom, and I'm like, I don't want a baby. I want to be a baby. I want to be in her safety and her beauty and her arms. Don't let me go. And then she puts me onto the delivery table. And they're like, okay, sweetheart. Okay, hun, it's time to push. Push, 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 push. Push. And I'm like, am I doing it? My doula looks at me, she's like, no, girl, that ain't it. That ain't it. You're gonna bust a blood vessel in your right eye. Don't mind any attention. Do not listen to any of the white people in this room. I'll do it. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, this is how women die in childbirth. Okay? How do women do it? And I just whimper. I go, I can't do it. I can't. And she's like, you are doing it, whether you like it or not. It's happening. Stop fighting the pain. Start listening to it. Listen to the voice of your own body contracting. Push with it. Learn from it. 2 pushes and 60 seconds later, I got a baby in my hands. my little tiny baby boy, my little zany pants, and I had him skin to skin. And in that moment, I just felt such gratitude and power. I thought, man, women can do anything. We can do anything. Who run the world? I mean, Beyonce told us, but we knew. We had already known. I thought how proud my grandmother would be in that moment, and how the ancestors knew all along that we could do it. And it was like my body was splitting asunder, but my heart was splitting wide open as I smelled my son. And Quran just spilled forward. Yasmin, wal-Qur'an al-Hakim, إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم. In tears I recited, by the letters that God sends, by God's words full of wisdom, verily you are but a messenger on the straightest of paths, a revelation of power and mercy. And then my Obi looked at me and goes, are you cursing me in your language? And my doula was like, I had told you to not pay attention. I realized that I really could do anything. I am my grandmother's wildest dreams, and every single one of you in this room is here because a woman did something with her body that she thought she could never do. Yeah. Yes. Yes, she did. She did. You should be kissing her feet or whatnot. So whatever you're dealing with, I don't want you to stress. I'm not sure what you're doubting yourself about, boo, but you got this. Thank you.